You're listening to Spainfully Honest, the podcast where me, Paul,
and me, Catherine, talk about what it's really like living in Spain.
Each week we'll share stories, tips and honest conversation about daily life here in Spain. The good, the bad and everything in between.
Whether you live in Spain or you're thinking about moving or you just want to know a little bit more, you're in the right place.
So grab a coffee, get comfy and let's get Spainfully Honest!
Hello and welcome to Spainfully Honest episode 42. Oh my God, 42 episodes. This one is all about expat life in Barcelona. And as you can see, we're remote again. And we're going to speak today to Margaret. So welcome, Margaret, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it's another episode about cities we've done. How many have we done now?
Well,
This is the third
one?
Third proper one, yeah. But Barcelona is one of the cities that loads of people ask about when they come on. And you see it everywhere, don't you, on Facebook? And I've actually been, which is good. I've been twice. But the first time for a business conference where we had it at the National Art Museum, which was fairly impressive, I must admit. We stayed just close by. And then secondly, I went about a year ago and stayed for a week. And that was great. I was like a tourist the second time, so I had went on the open top buses and all around everywhere into the centre and really enjoyed it. What really impressed me, perhaps more than anywhere else I've been, and I don't just mean in Spain, was public transport. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, so good. I'd say we were staying about 5 kilometres out from the centre. And it was just so easy to get everywhere. Absolutely brilliant.
Very true.
But from where we were staying, there was a train, bus, or a tram into the centre. So good, really good. Really
Nice.
pleased with it. Have you been?
Yeah, I went to Barcelona years ago now, but again on a holiday, just only for over the weekend. But I really liked it. Really beautiful, really pretty.
Jolly good. Shall we crack on then?
Let's do
Let's
it.
start talking about Barcelona.
Yeah.
Life in
Barcelona, yeah.
Mm.
So Margaret, do you want to tell us before we get started a little bit about yourself, how you ended up living in Barcelona and everything like that?
The more the merrier. We like a lot of this kind of gossip.
Yes. Get ready. Sure. So I'm Italian. My husband is from the UK, but we lived in Australia for about 20 years. And about 2 years ago, this is something that we actually started to plan a few years ago. But 2 years ago, we decided to make the move to Europe. And of course, the question that we always get asked is why not Italy or why not the UK? And strangely enough, before we even met, so over 20 years ago, we were independently planning to move to Barcelona. Then, of course, life gets in the way, things change, and we ended up staying in Australia. And then when we decided to make the move back to Europe, we thought, well, why not Barcelona? Then 20 years later, but still, better late than never. So we decided, and of course, it's a city that we know very well. We knew it already very well. We used to have a business before that had an office in Barcelona, so we were coming every year anyway. I honestly would say, why not Barcelona? For anyone, even if you don't know Barcelona well, you definitely should give it a try and try to live here. It is an amazing city. I think it's a great size city. It's not too big. It's not too small. It offers a lot. And as you mentioned, the public transports are amazing. We are a family and we don't even have a car. And we never feel like the need to even get one. So, that's how we ended up here.
Yeah. So did you move? So when you moved from Australia, did you have people in Barcelona already that were helping you at this end, or was it just up sticks and go to Barcelona?
No, we didn't have anyone that we knew. We knew a few people, but no one that was actually going to help us with the move, really. Of course, it makes it easier that I'm Italian, therefore European. My husband is English, but he also has an Irish passport. So again, when you don't need a visa, it's a bit of an easier process. But, of course, it's we probably underestimated the fact that we always traveled and we thought, this would be easy like everything else. We've been away from Europe for quite a long time. So we settled now, of course, but I think we underestimated how complicated it could have been, the move. And especially when we were independently planning to move to Australia, to Barcelona, sorry, of course, we didn't have kids. With kids is a completely different story. So there is a lot of things that we needed to consider that before we would have needed to. So, yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, we made it. And it's a very welcoming city, I think. So that made it easier for sure.
Yeah. And what was it about Barcelona specifically that kind of you fell in love with back in the day? What was it that you and your husband kind of were drawn to in Barcelona before you moved?
Yeah. Look, I mean, you go amazing mountains and amazing beaches, all like very close, like 1-2 hours away. So the location is very, central within Europe. So you can reach any other city within Europe very easily. It's very international. I don't think I could go back and live. I'm originally from Sicily, which is very traditional, place. Maybe one day, who knows? Never say never. But I really think that having lived abroad for so long, having traveled so much, especially for work and for leisure, I don't think I can go back and live in a place that is like not open-minded or full of people from everywhere in the world. And I really, really like this. So Barcelona, I mean, we met people from literally everywhere. I mean, it helps that our kids attend an international school. So again, there is all the families are from really everywhere in the world. But, this is what we need. This is what we like. And this is what I think Barcelona can offer.
So right, I'm going back a little bit again. So you decide you're going to move to Barcelona.
Yep.
It's a long way away, obviously, from Australia. It's even further than it would have been from the UK. How did you deal with the paperwork side as far as your visa, looking for property, finding property, then staying in it? Did you do it all yourself, or did you get professionals to help you, or what did you do?
Yeah, so visas, as I mentioned before, given that we're both European, we didn't need any visa. But of course, there is so much other paperwork that is needed. And of course, that's the main issue of like Europe, Southern Europe in particular. Like I said, I'm Italian, so I know it very well anyway. The bureaucracy is quite heavy, especially compared to places like, the US or Australia or even the UK for that matter. So we did everything ourselves. Our background is mainly in our professional life in the past. It was mainly in education. So we used to help European move to Australia, and we were handling all the, choosing the academic path, doing the visa, helping with the accommodation. So we kind of like used to all of these issues. And in fact, we will touch base on this probably later on during this podcast. But this is what, with my business partner, we have recreated now. And we're just doing the reverse. So we're helping people move from the US, or Australia, or anywhere, or UK to Europe, Spain in particular. So for us, we kind of like knew what to do, and especially, of course, take away the issue with the visa, then it's a lot easier. Accommodation was probably the hardest thing. Even with all the experience we could have had, it is still, quite problematic. Probably in all the main cities in Spain, and not only, probably all the main cities in the world. It is a bit of an issue. But yeah, Barcelona in particular is a tricky one. So yeah, we moved quite a few times already. Now we're settled. We have a long-term accommodation, so it's a lot better. But the first few months have been a bit interesting, let's say.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Did you went first when you arrived? Was that, and then you found your apartment from there? That's usually what we tell other people to do. Is that what you did?
Exactly, yes. So fully furnished, ready to go solution first. And that's what we say also to all our clients. That's what we recommend. Definitely never to book anything from overseas long term. you need to be here, you need to see the layout of apartments is very different from what most people are used to. There's a lot of like these internal rooms, as they call them, which means rooms without a window, basically, or
Yeah.
window into, you know. So, and some other, weird situations that you can find yourself in. So definitely we recommend to book something for the first few months. And also in terms of areas, they are so different. Barcelona has so much to offer, but each area is different. So again, you can research forever, but you never know what it feels like until you're here. So experience the different areas, walk around, and then decide where you want to be long term. That's what we did, and that's what I normally recommended everyone
Good
to do.
idea. Yeah, I remember when I moved to Madrid, I discovered the piso entre planta. And I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
Between floors. And I went and saw it and I was like, oh no.
That's not what I want.
Not for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So yeah, you kind of have to, you look at when you're looking at, on whatever, let's say Idealista or something like that, and you see the price and you think, oh yeah, that looks good for the price. But then you go and actually see an entre planta and you're like, no.
And then
you never get bad pictures either, do you? They only show you the good things.
The good pictures.
They don't put you the bad things.
Well, all the lights on, of course, so it looks like there's loads of light in it, but there is.
Exactly. Natural light is a luxury, I have to say. But yes, Anyway.
Did you speak Spanish when you came over then?
A little bit. I mean, of course, being Italian, I understood everything, basically. Speaking is a matter of mostly practicing. And also back, in my previous life in Australia, I was dealing a lot with Latin Americans and Spanish speakers in general. So I wasn't zero, of course, but I wasn't completely fluent. Issue with Barcelona, of course, is Catalan, is not Castellano, as they call it, not Spanish. So that, and I knew how, important, the use of Catalan was here. But probably I didn't realize to what extent until I moved here. And everything is, Catalan mainly. Of course, they'll switch to Spanish if they understand that you don't speak the language, but it will be the first language that they will address you in, and
they want you to speak Catalan, don't they?
Ideally, I mean, like I said, they understand that it's, if you're not from here, it's not an easy thing to do as soon as you arrive, especially. But so I haven't experienced any, problems with that. But definitely, I learn a lot by osmosis, by being in a place and reading and watching and listening, even on the bus, what they say, and everything is in Catalan. To the point that now sometimes I'm questioning, and I'm like, is that Spanish or Catalan? I'm not even sure anymore, So but again, it's interesting. And that's one of the reasons actually why we decided not to put our kids into a public school.
I was just going to ask you, did they have to do Catalan and Castellano in school?
Well, it's Catalan, basically.
Catalan.
The whole in the public system is in Catalan. So also we didn't know originally how long we were going to stay. So we thought, okay, especially if it's short term, our kids were 8 when we moved. So it's an age there, I guess it could have been okay even to learn. They would have learned the language for sure. But we just thought, okay, especially because we don't know how long we're going to be there, probably better, easier for them to make the move and go to an international school. And so they're attending a British school at the moment. But we'll see. Definitely doesn't help with learning the language. That's the other problem, because everything is in English. Everyone speaks English. So we might have to consider another move of school in the coming year or so. We don't know yet. But
that's something really important to think about, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really
because it's not, if you go somewhere else in Spain, effectively you can move somewhere else in Spain and it wouldn't make any difference. But with that. That's
Yeah.
something to really think about, isn't it?
But even in
Yeah.
Valencia, it's
Yeah, it's
Valenciano and
Valenciano.
Castellano. So
Mm.
you have to, I don't think people realize that,
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah.
just be careful when they're going to school because they might have to do both languages. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, Madrid, from that point of view, is probably the best. And in all honesty, if it had been Spanish, I would have, very happily put them in a normal
Yeah.
school, because I think it's a very useful language to learn, of course. Why not? Because we live here, but in general, even, whatever they will do and wherever they will go in the future, it is very well spoken language. So,
Yeah.
but Catalan is a bit of a different story, but we are considering, for example, a move to a school. They say the kids come out trilingual in the end, so it could be still an international school. It offers, IB Continuum, the International Baccalaureate, so that is there, but at least, more exposure to the local languages. Otherwise, the risk is to live this parallel life, so you live here, but you're kind of living as an expat, really,
Yeah.
without integrating. And that's not what we want, but we shall see. They're happy where they are. So with kids is a bit,
No,
The main thing is that they're happy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
One thing I didn't ask you was about the climate in Barcelona. So that's something that people ask a lot about. So what would you say the climate is like in all seasons for people? What to expect when they move to Barcelona? What's the weather like?
The weather, I would say, is amazing. I mean, I was just before coming here to the office to talk to you guys, I was sitting we're very lucky to have a very big terrace in our house, and it's sunny and warm and beautiful. I mean, like I coming from Sicily originally, and then having lived in Rome for 5 years, which again is a southern city, and then moved to Sydney, in Australia, which again is very sunny, beautiful weather. I couldn't live anywhere where, there is lack of light or lack of, sun, really. My husband, of course, being from the UK, is always saying, these days like these are so rare, back home. But that's what I'm used to. This is days with the sun is what I need, and it's what you experience most of the year, I would say, in Barcelona. It's probably colder than what I expected it to be in winter, which I guess makes sense, mostly because I was used to winter in Sydney, in Australia, which is very, very mild. So this is typical of a European city, I think, but still sunny. So, even if the temperature a bit colder than what I expected, what I was used to, it's still, you still get a lot of sun, a lot of light. And as much as I understand, because we help our clients also looking for accommodation, it's not very easy. And that's very sad to find houses with terraces and big terraces in Barcelona, but try to do anything that you can to get one, because outside space, you're going to use it. There is the weather for it. And I think it makes your life completely different, when you can enjoy that light, that sun, that outside space. So, yeah.
It is. Once you get used to it, it's very depressing when you don't have it.
Yeah.
Because
Totally.
we've had, I think that here we've had the worst winter I can remember.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's been, it's not been that long really. I'm from Burnley. It's like 11 months winter. But this time it's been since say mid-December, and it's been 3 months, but it's felt like forever.
It's been, I mean, I've loved it. I mean, I'm always complaining about the heat and the sun. I don't know. I didn't move to Spain for the weather per se. I don't know. I just liked it here. I can't describe it. I just liked it. I have a good feeling when I lived here. I'm not really mad about the sun and the heat and everything.
Yeah.
So it's been quite a dark, grey. Well, that's a bit dramatic. Dark and grey. It's not like Ireland or anything, but it's like it's been a darker, grayer, cloudier than usual, colder than usual winter in this area of the world. So
I had to buy slipper socks this year. I've been here 24 years. I have never had slipper socks.
You see,
And I bought 3 pairs of slipper socks because
I mean, the
cold,
summer.
well, might be age as well.
maybe your age.
Summer can be brutal, I have to say. August, if you can escape, Barcelona probably is the best month to escape it.
Yeah.
But you've got the beach, so potentially you can
Yeah.
enjoy that as well.
Yeah.
But it can be very hot.
I don't find a problem with the heat compared to the cold. I can cope with the heat. Aircon, you have to accept that you have to have aircon. It's not a luxury here. It's an essential. Like in the UK in Burnley, you wouldn't see a house nowadays without central heating.
Yeah.
And it's the same here. You've got to have aircon, and you have to pay for having it on. It's
Yeah,
just got to be acceptable.
Yeah.
But you have to have it.
And
But
again,
like I say, it's not cold.
when you look for accommodation, checking that there is aircon and in all bedrooms as well, because sometimes they only have it in the main living room and not in the bedroom. Because again, I know, because I come from Southern Europe too, it's not, like you said, it's an essential, but we don't see it that way. I mean, until you then go through very, very, very hot summers and you go like, how did I even do that without air conditioning?
Yeah. And why?
And why too? Yeah, I know. For the environment.
The environment. Yeah. And when you do have it, I feel you have to use it carefully. Otherwise, you can get to the end of the summer and get an awful surprise when you get your electricity bill.
I know.
Yes.
Yes.
I find that you acclimatise the other way as well, though. I'll have my aircon on, say, 24, 25 degrees.
Yes.
But you go in and you see people who've come over for the holidays, and they've got it like set on 15.
I know. That would be too cold for me anyway. So never. 25 is winter for me already. So okay. Yes.
Just listening to you talk about the different neighborhoods in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Could you maybe just highlight a couple of the ones that you like and why, and maybe who they might be suited to? So like this one might be nice for families. This one might be, that kind of thing.
Sure. Okay. So, L'Eixample is, where most people probably end up going, at least to start with. In fact, I always say that you probably hear more English in L'Eixample than Spanish or Catalan. But, it is so iconic. It is so beautiful. It's where you find the typical, wonderful apartments, Barcelona apartments, with the
that character.
Exactly. It's so beautiful even to walk around and look around. But especially the higher side of the Eixample is nice. As you get, closer and closer to Plaza Catalunya, I think it gets a bit too touristy. I wouldn't recommend that. I think it's great for families as well. Of course, it depends where, you're coming from, what you were used to, but there is a big shift that needs to happen, especially if you were used to living in places, in houses with gardens or a lot of space. Here's apartment living. And in L'Eixample, it can feel a bit, crowded and busy, but it is so iconic. So probably to begin with is where I would start, especially if you're going with what we were talking about before, like the fully furnished, ready to go solution for the first few months. It's very central, easy to explore and reach, so many other different areas of Barcelona. So either L'Eixample or Gracia, which is where we started, it's probably a bit more, they say, studenty feel, a bit more real, I really like it. The vibe is amazing. A lot of restaurants, cafes, again, very walkable, and very easy to reach all parts of Barcelona by bus or train. One area that I think not many know about, but I think is very strategic, is called Sant Gervasi, and it's 5 minutes to L'Eixample, 5 minutes to Gracia, very residential, full of families, still plenty around in terms of cafes and restaurants. So I think that's one that is very strategically located. We currently living in the Zona Alta, which is the one that they close to Tibidabo. Tibidabo is, the building that you can see from everywhere, more or less, in Barcelona. It's where the majority of international schools are. So, and it's much quieter, more like a local neighborhood, very family oriented, I would say, and still very, you can get to Garcia in less than 10 minutes. Same Le Champ, we have the train, we have the ferrocarril, what they call the underground, very close. We have buses, we have different options. So these are the areas that I think are probably the best. Personally, I don't like very much the, Las Ramblas, but, for some people, they want to be really in the center of it all. Maybe it's great. And I don't really like to be close to the beach. I like to be able to go to the beach, but the area is very much like a party area. So it's a bit too much, I think, for families, perhaps. Maybe if you're a young couple, then why not? But so many other new areas, or let's say areas that they are, coming and becoming a bit more popular is Poblenou, which before I remember coming here and it was absolutely no area, and now is, it's full of cafes. A lot of international companies locate there. It's changing a lot. Elborn is also quite interesting. But yeah, personally, that's not where I would choose to live, but again, it depends on the profile of the person. Yeah.
Oh, that's great though. It's great to hear those just ideas for people to start looking, and you might have mentioned somewhere they hadn't thought of, or
I hope so.
Cool.
So now you're helping people move to Barcelona.
Yeah.
So what is the best way for them to contact you? What would you, how would you advise them contacting you?
Yeah, so if they visit our website, which is caminocollab.com, they can book a complimentary call with us. There is a calendar there and our availability is all there. So they can easily book a call. We can do an initial call and understand what their needs are and what they're planning. We can assist them with more or less everything that they need. So either with the full package that includes, of course, visas, medical insurance, accommodation, schooling for the kids if it's applicable, translations, and all the support once they arrive as well, with all the bureaucracy. Or they can just select, some of our clients, perhaps they already have, they're coming with a company and the company has already a law firm that they're working with, or they just, they don't really need a visa and they just want help with the accommodation or just understanding the tax implications that they are by moving to Spain, and in Catalonia in particular, which is a bit more complicated than other regions in Spain. So it really, we offer a range of services, and they can either, let us help them with everything if they need to, or just with selected services that they need and they want us to help them with.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Excellent. I'll make sure to put for everyone listening, I'll put the links to your website and to your social media or whatever to contact you. So if you look on the show notes, you'll be able to click directly on them, or you should be able to, and it'll bring you directly to Margaret's website, so you can check out more information there. For our final question, we always ask everyone, what would be the best tip? Like, if you could give someone one tip about moving to Spain, what would it be?
Well, one thing that I think is very important is to embrace the new life, the new culture that they're moving into. There is a lot of, and that's totally normal, but there is a lot of comparison that happens at the beginning. Oh, well, back home is like this. Back home, we would do. And yeah, it makes sense. We all do it. It's very important, I think. The quicker you get used to the your new reality, which tends to be often with at least the clients that we deal with, in majority they are from the US, not only, but it is very different. It probably couldn't be more different. They need to expect bureaucracy. They need to adapt to schedules that are completely different, the meal times or whatever else it might be. Learn some Spanish, or Catalan in the case of Barcelona. Be flexible and try and understand. Often, a lot of the families or individuals that we deal with have already visited Barcelona before, but this is not, if you're moving, it's not a vacation anymore. It's not a holiday. It's daily life. It's your new life here. So
Yeah.
understanding the difference between vacation life and real life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely. Yeah.
That's my big thing, isn't it? I'm always saying that. So I think people have spent so much time in Spain on holidays that they think their life is going to be like a holiday when they move to Spain, but it settles down and it becomes quiet, and you still have to do your housework. Your kids still have to do their homework, Things
exactly.
go into a normal everyday life,
Yeah.
And there always will be things that potentially were better where you came from. Certain things will be better, but you have to weigh up your whole life, don't you?
Yeah.
And what the final result is.
Exactly.
That's what I think.
I
Exactly.
agree.
Yes. And try as much as you can, keep comparing. If you're trying to find your whole life here, you're probably going to fail. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
A great tip. Well, that was brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us, Margaret. That was a really good conversation, and I'm sure everyone loved listening about
They will.
Barcelona. It's quite a
Definitely.
popular one, isn't it? A lot of people want to move to Barcelona.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Very true. Yeah. And thank you for having me. It was great.
No problem.
Thank
So
you.
you're Camino Collab, right? Camino
Yes.
Collab. Yeah.
Yes.
And as I said, we'll put the links down below. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Margaret.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.